It's America, we in some deep S-H-I-T.
Extraordinary images out of Los Angeles tonight.
This is becoming a common scene.
The Department of Homeland Security truck arrived in Portland, Oregon.
You cannot get enamored with the fact that the White House will deploy troops in a state without talking to the government. That cannot be normal. It gives echoes of slipping toward something that Viktor Orbán would do. We don't do that. We don't suppress our universities. Orbán did that. We don't suppress our press and speak daily about how bad the press is. It makes me wonder as a citizen, what the hell's going on? I'm Russel Honoré, Lieutenant General United States Army, retired, and most people just call me General. For 37 years, 3 months and 3 days, I served this nation in uniform and was fortunate enough to get promoted to the rank of Lieutenant General. I had a lot of time while I was in the military working jobs that involved military support to civil authority. We got the best Marines in the world, I think. But they're trained for close order combat, to close with, capture and destroy the enemy, not to go do civil disturbance. I do worry about our democracy because for a little less than 250 years, it has survived based around our Constitution that the purpose of government is to serve the people. And I see a switch here where the purpose of government is to serve the business. And we got to fight to keep it. If we're not willing to fight to keep it, we are going to be a big disappointment to our ancestors who got their heads beat in for the right to vote. Who got their heads beat in to sit anywhere they wanted on the bus. We're going to be a big disappointment. While the democracy has a great promise, it's very vulnerable.
Weapons down! Weapons down, damn it! Put those damn weapons down!
There were a bunch of elderly ladies and women with babies there. And when I saw that, I just responded very emotionally and loud, put the damn guns down.
I'm gonna play you again, goddammit! Get those goddamn weapons down!
When I hear U.S. politicians even come close to words like that, it scares the hell out of me. This concept that we're gonna put American troops on the street, we're gonna tell them shoot to kill. That's ridiculous. Or you hear a politician say, well, just shoot them in the leg. That's ridiculous. We don't do shit like that in America. I protect my troops, I protect federal buildings, but I will not raise arms against our citizens. I think once we cross that line, it's going to be hard to come back. And I think what we see going on again now is a precursor to set the conditions in the American people mind that we would have soldiers deployed to Chicago, Dallas, New York, Seattle, all the big blue cities. They've said it out loud. The idea of the elimination of habeas corpus and allowing soldiers under the Insurrection Act to be able to arrest citizens, or waiving the Posse Comitatus Act by setting up this scenario that the nation's under attack. Well, Los Angeles wasn't under attack. We don't do that in America. It's not only not normal, it's against our Constitution. That would just destroy our army if we start using our army and our Marines to shoot Americans or to arrest them. This will be the beginning of the ending of democracy in America as we know it. That's not the America I grew up in. And I grew up in America with a black water fountain and a white one. You with me? We've been through this shit. And I didn't feel as violated doing that because I didn't know different. You with me? But I sure enough feel violated today when we got people coming to America and they're checking their phones to see what articles they wrote. That is bullshit. That's some Russia and China shit. So we got a Supreme Court that's a bobbleheads. The Supreme Court is not going to save us. The Supreme Court will do what they think the people in power want them to do. Look, I went to 12 years of segregated school. There was a school a mile from my house. You know what time I got on the bus in the morning? 6:15. School started 8:30. Did that for 4 years. Because the Supreme Court, the esteemed Supreme Court, those sumbitches said separate but equal was okay. So don't give me this bullshit about the Supreme Court interpret the law. They interpret just what the hell they want to interpret. I was born and raised about 25 miles north of where this ranch is, in a place called Lakeland, Louisiana, in Point Coupee Parish. I was the 8th straight boy of 12 children, and I was born during a hurricane in 1947. Growing up in a big family, you understand teamwork and you understand the hierarchy of the group. So you come out ready to work as a team with anybody. Growing up poor, you learn how to adapt and overcome. So that's the environment I grew up in. And my dad, unfortunately, didn't know how to read because when he grew up, there were no schools for our people in Point Coupee Parish. My mom could read, but he couldn't. And I can remember going with him when we went to sell cotton, and he had to sign his name, and he signed the X. Later on in years, as my sisters grew up, they worked with him so he could sign his name. I do not resent that. I think the hard life I had conditioned me for some of the places we went around the world and missions we were asked to do. That there's old saying, you don't sharpen a knife with a cloth, you sharpen it with a stone. And that built a sense of resilience. Coming in the Army was like a step up, and it gave me an opportunity to be on America's team. Reflecting back on how we were treated when I was young with separate water fountains and bathrooms, I just wanted to be able to go in the front door and be treated normal. And coming in the Army, I thought would give me that right to be on America's team. And that's all I ever wanted to do, was be on America's team. Even during Katrina, I would get hate emails, and they would call me affirmative action hire. That was hateful as hell. Now they would use the word DEI. I earned my damn ranks. I spent over 7 or 8 years overseas, but to be told you're an affirmative action hire was hurtful. But I had experienced that early on in life. I didn't let that define me. We can't be passive. You can't be passive and save a democracy. Because the people with the voice will basically mess you up. Look what we got now. You know, we running in the cabbage fields and picking up people that's harvesting the fruits and vegetables. Right here in Baton Rouge, we got a veteran married this girl in California. They're back here. She goes in to present her card like they tell them to do, following the rules, right? The people arrested her. She's telling them she got a 9-week-old nursing baby in this country, and we ship her to Shreveport. Who does shit like that? There's certain things we ought to get pissed off about. This is America, man. But you're gonna put her in the detention center than send her to a country where she may not even come from and leave the 9 week old. We don't do shit like that in America. The people you're taking out, they're picking the crops. They're putting the roofs on the houses if we have another hurricane. You know how Katrina got rebuilt so quick? President Bush said, okay, let the immigrants come in. And we brought them in by the thousand. You want to know where they are? Go to Kenner, Louisiana, right around the airport. There's a whole Hispanic community built. They even put a monument up to them because everybody recognized at the end of the day, that city would not be rebuilt in the time it got rebuilt without the immigrant community coming in. This is crazy. I think we've taken a lot for granted. But when it comes to our fundamental rights, all Americans got a responsibility to protect it. Because previous generations have fought for this right for us to use our First Amendment. I don't think we can afford to be submissive. It's just not American to become submissive to bullshit. People have died for this democracy. And we just can't afford to give it up. But many are sitting back watching. I've served my time. And if you're sitting back watching, I ask you to get engaged. So let's get your skills involved and help to save our democracy.